What's up, Meta Nerds? This video is all about a fan ship that would serve a very important role in the Imperial Navy. It was crafted by unusual suspects, and the lore was expanded on by Slingblade87 over on DeviantArt, so be sure to check out all the related links down in the description. But let's break down this massive battle station. Conceived by Admiral Tycon, who saw the need for a mobile space station that could act as both a command post and resupply ship. Seeing this station makes you really appreciate how massive an Imperial Star Destroyer is, as these ships would often act as a command base when policing remote worlds. Your ISD looms in the atmosphere, sending mobile bases to be established on world, and tons of shuttles and TIE fighters that control the airspace in cities. This Tycon-class Imperial Battlestation just scaled this up, acting as the central hub for the ISDs, and sending multiple Star Destroyers out to police entire sectors. I use the word police, but remember that when Palpatine took over, half the galaxy hated the centralized authority of the Republic, and thus the new Empire, so this was more a way to act as an Imperial anchor, dropping it in systems that still saw themselves as Confederates. But let's take a look inside of this ship to see how it all worked. First off, let's look at the size. It was 19.6 kilometers or 12 miles across, making the Death Star 1 about 8 times wider. This would make it 1/10 the width of the Death Star 2, and 1/34 that of Starkiller base. But if we're talking volume, it's about 1,000 times smaller than the DS2. To compare it to Earth, the Tycon was nearly as long as Manhattan, and could almost stretch across the Strait of Gibraltar. Now back inside of this battle station, you can see these enormous elevators that connected each of these platforms, moving the munitions, hypermatter fuel, Tabana gas, foods, and liquids, as well as all the other materials needed to run Star Destroyers, that each had thousands of crew members. This central column would also house the shielding technology, along with its hyperdrive, which was rated as a Class 3. That's not the fastest, but it is really impressive for a battle station of this size. Its most notable feature is the docking areas, which could house either 18 Star Destroyers or 36 smaller vessels like cruisers, freighters, or corvettes. There are these 6 larger dock openings which would double stack Star Destroyers and could accommodate ships up to the size of Allegiance-class battlecruisers, a 2,200 meter long ship. Then there were these 6 smaller openings that could take up to a Procusator class, a 1,200 meter vessel. There is a ring of hangars on the top and bottom, making 12 hangars in total, and this area would house things like Gazantes and other shuttles that could bring countless TIE fighters and AT variants into the battlefront. Now the battle station itself was also well defended, with over 1,000 turbolasers, more than 700 laser cannons and ion cannons, 320 missile turrets, and 360 tractor beams. This meant that although destroying a fully packed Tycon with 18 Star Destroyers would make for a tremendous rebel victory, it wasn't very likely. Thrawn may have loved this method of power distribution across the galaxy, but Admiral Tycon grew frustrated as this idea was passed over in favor of intimidating massive single ships like the Assertor, Vengeance, Executor, and of course the Death Stars. In fact, all Tycon production stops around the time the Death Star 1 is nearly completed, but they were never dismantled and served the Empire years after the death of Sidious. Some would continue into the time of the Imperial Remnant, but they did become too difficult to maintain. After all, something has to eventually supply the supply ship, and so the warlords left to rule their fragments of the Empire mostly found it better to command their fleets from their Star Destroyers. So that's it for the Tycon-class Imperial Battlestation. I highly suggest checking out those DeviantArt links to see all the other amazing Star Wars fan creations. I definitely like the idea behind this battle station, and I feel like it could easily fit into Star Wars material. But what do you guys think of the Tycon? Is it necessary, awesome, silly, or anything in between? Let me know what you guys think and how you would use it in the comments down below. If you want to connect with us, help support the channel, or get your own copies of reference materials used to make these videos, be sure to check out the links in the description. Special shout out to our supporters over on Patreon, but most important of all, remember, always ask yourself, what would Thrawn do? And the Force will be with you. Always.